Evelyn sits on the creaking floorboards of Edmund's apartment, surrounded by the last remnants of his life. Battered books, a few faded photographs, a wooden chest with scuffed corners, and a scattering of yellowed ministry forms. She sorts through the small pile for the third time, lifting each item in turn, searching for meaning in the ordinary. She pauses at a heavy desk whose drawers seem emptier than she remembers. Running her hands along the inside, she recalls how Edmund always joked about trusting nothing left in plain sight. She tests the bottom panel with her fingernail. There's a faint give. Heart thudding, she teases the wood until it lifts, revealing a narrow, cloth-wrapped bundle wedged beneath. It's a journal, battered, its spine split, the cover marked with odd looping characters. She opens it and finds page after page, covered in symbols and coded notes, none immediately readable. A folded slip of paper falls out, Edmund's handwriting. For heart, the margins hold the truth. E. Evelyn sits back, realization spreading. This is no ordinary diary. She closes the drawer, lays the journal on her table beside a lamp, and stares at the ciphered pages. She senses that whatever killed Edmund, the answer may be here, hidden in plain sight, waiting for her to see what only she, his true pupil, can understand. Back at her apartment, the lamp's circle of light shrinks the world to Evelyn's kitchen table. She flips through the journal, tracing the unfamiliar cipher, layers of triangles, dots, and slashes interspersed with blocky abbreviations. She recognises some, Edmund's old habits, the shorthand they once joked about. But this is deeper, denser. She takes out one of Edmund's old ledgers, searching the margins for recurring symbols. Slowly, she builds a key, jotting translations into her battered notebook. It takes an hour to crack the first paragraph. As the words emerge, her pulse quickens. Project Ascension. Funding concealed through shell dispersals. See Diagram C. She flips to a sketch. An intricate flowchart showing arrows from ministry accounts to ambiguous destinations. Names are replaced with stars and circles. Evelyn realises the same pattern appears in some of Edmund's flagged receipts. She overlays the journal with her own audit records, aligning symbols to account numbers. The diagrams whisper of something vast, bigger than Project Lantern. She circles Project Ascension repeatedly, then leans back, exhaustion and intrigue battling within her. The city's hum seeps in from the window. She feels the net tightening, the urgency mounting. The cipher may hold the key to everything Edmund died for. Evelyn stands before her evidence wall, pinning up the latest journal diagrams beside a tangle of ministry audit printouts, string, and old photographs. She squints at the coded arrows and symbols, trying to match them to the shell organisation she's tracked for weeks. Names are missing, only symbols where people should be. She flips through her own ledgers, overlaying them with translucent paper. The same obscure glyph repeats beside both ministry payments and church laboratory addresses. A cold realisation forms. All the lines converge on a handful of church properties, hidden facilities that never appear in public directories. But the journal references a cipher page she cannot find. Refer to index, page missing. Evelyn's frustration boils. She sifts through Edmund's remaining papers, searching for a pattern in the absences themselves. She notes which accounts are redacted, which transfers are left incomplete. She sketches their outlines, seeing a ghostly map of power and money. The trail is clear, but the final proof is gone. Evelyn's breath catches as a floorboard creaks in the hallway. She freezes, eyes darting to the window, where dusk has settled over the city. Someone is outside. She gathers her notes, heart pounding, and moves toward the window, every sense alert. Night deepens as Evelyn stands at her window, peering through a narrow slit in the curtain. Across the alley, a figure in a low-brimmed hat leans against a lamppost, eyes seemingly fixed on her building. The stairwell outside her door creaks again, softer this time. Evelyn slips away from the window and presses her back to the wall, listening. The footsteps pause, then retreat. She surveys her apartment. Is there anything out of place? Anything left in the open? Her mind races. She realizes she cannot leave without being noticed. Instead, she scribbles a decoy note. Meeting at 8, lantern, and leaves it tucked conspicuously near the mailboxes in the entryway. She then retreats to her window, watching. Within minutes, the watcher across the street stirs. Another figure appears at the alley mouth, scanning the building's facade. Evelyn's skin prickles. This is no random curiosity. She is under coordinated surveillance. She marks the faces in her memory, commits their silhouettes to paper, and quietly latches her door. She knows now. Every move is being watched. Evelyn waits in the narrow shadows of the stairwell, ear pressed to the cool wall. Minutes after she places her decoy note, she hears the soft rustle of paper. Someone retrieves it. She peers through the peephole. A second watcher, well-dressed and anonymous, pockets the slip and glances up toward her door before departing. Evelyn's caution sharpens. She slips her slim camera and a ciphered message into her coat, then exits down the back stairs, glancing over her shoulder at every landing. Outside, the alley is washed in weak light. She sees a shadow detach from the wall, following as she turns left, then right, threading through the city's maze. Her pulse quickens. The pursuit is real and practiced. Rather than use her usual route, she doubles back and circles the block, then ducks into a narrow passage beside a shuttered grocer. She spots the watcher's silhouette pausing at the corner, scanning for her. Evelyn slips into the crowd, head down, and hurries toward Market Row. She knows now. Her watchers are not amateurs. Her old methods are burned. Evelyn melts into the evening crush of Market Row, weaving through merchants packing up for the night and street sellers hawking bread from crates. She slips into the shadowed corner of a crumbling arcade where the journal's margin notes referenced a meeting. Here, 2 bells past dusk. She waits, tense, alert. After several minutes, a figure in a battered coat approaches, clearly nervous. The contact glances over their shoulder twice. Evelyn moves forward, reciting a code phrase from the journal. Truth through sacrifice. The contact's eyes widen in recognition, but before they can speak, Evelyn spots a watcher at the far end of the arcade, moving deliberately their way. The contact hesitates, then thrusts a small folded scrap into Evelyn's hand. They're watching. You're not alone. Find the wolf among the shepherds, the contact whispers, before vanishing into the crowd. Evelyn stands frozen, reading the note. A warning and a symbol, a circle split by a lightning bolt. She tucks it into her pocket, scanning the crowd for tales. There is more resistance inside the institutions than she knew, but danger is everywhere. In the muffled quiet of her safe house, a forgotten cellar beneath a boarded tailor's shop, Evelyn spreads out her evidence, the new symbol from her ally at the centre. She studies the journal's most difficult passage, the cipher twisting in knots at the key turn. Ascension. Phase 2. Expansion. Approved by Joint Council. She realises the missing ledger, referenced repeatedly, would unlock the last layer, but it's gone. Instead, she pores over every margin of Edmund's old files, tracing the same circle lightning symbol. She finds it stamped on a ministry document, a church memo, and a requisition form for laboratory equipment. The pattern is clear. Project Ascension is a joint operation, far larger than Lantern, and the missing ledger would prove it. She scribbles down every detail she can find, cross-referencing dates and locations. But the evidence is incomplete. The final threads slip through her fingers. As she contemplates her next move, heavy footsteps echo from the alley above. A courier's knock. She tenses, retrieves a pistol from a hidden drawer, and cracks open the door. The courier hands her a sealed envelope. Ministry letterhead, marked urgent, performance review. Evelyn's world narrows. Time is short. Evelyn sits rigid in the ministry's HR conference room, harsh white lights glaring off the polished table. Two officials in grey suits sit across from her, faces unreadable, dossiers open. They ask bland questions about her recent audits, but every query is loaded. Why did she review dormant accounts? Why did she request access to sealed files? Who is she in contact with outside the ministry? Evelyn answers with careful neutrality, feigning confusion at the most pointed accusations. Beneath the table, her audio recorder hums quietly, capturing every word. The official's tone shifts. Veiled threats about insubordination, about jeopardizing public trust. She's told her accounts are now under review. Her access card is suspended until further notice. The message is clear. She is now a liability. Evelyn collects her bag, stands, and thanks them with a mask of politeness. As she leaves, she glimpses another official in the corridor, watching. The walls feel closer than ever. Outside the ministry, she breathes the city's cold air, clutching her bag. She has no illusions. She is a marked woman. She must act before they move against her. Evelyn moves quickly through Market Row, head down, bag clutched tight. She senses the pressure, the rhythmic presence of footsteps behind her, the glances from men in neutral coats. She heads for her usual dead drop, a loose brick behind a shuttered bakery, but sees a pair of unfamiliar men loitering nearby, eyes scanning the street. Thinking fast, she veers into the adjacent alley, doubles back, and slips into a chaotic public square. She darts behind a vendor's cart, extracts the journal and decoded notes, and wedges them into a drainpipe behind a soot-blackened statue. Seconds later, 2 agents round the corner, searching. Evelyn ducks into a crowd of market-goers, weaving between stalls and out the far side. She listens for pursuit, heart hammering, and doesn't stop until she's several blocks away, breathless in the shadows of a narrow lane. Her evidence is safe, but the close call leaves her shaken. She realises she cannot return home, cannot use the old safe houses, cannot trust familiar routines. The city has become a maze of eyes. In a vacant room above a bakery, Evelyn sits at a rickety desk, sweat beading along her brow. She assembles the last fragments of the journal, scribbled notes, and her own ledgers, piecing together the cipher bit by bit. She decodes a paragraph, a schedule, a list of sites, and a chilling catalogue of names. Potential targets. The words, Project Ascension, Joint Authorization. Phase 2 commences at dawn. Her hands tremble. She types a coded summary into her audio recorder, and with trembling fingers, keys an encrypted burst to Mara and her other ally. Suddenly, booted steps echo in the stairwell below. Evelyn grabs her bag, sweeps the remaining notes into her coat, and flees out the back window onto the flat's roof. Below, agents pour into the bakery, searching. She drops to the alley, knees scraping, and sprints into the night. The city's lights blur as she runs, heart hammering, mind racing. She has what she needs, but her life is now forfeit if caught. The truth is bigger than anything she imagined, and now the hunt truly begins. Midnight. Evelyn crouches in a shadowy storeroom near the riverfront, breath ragged. She reviews the copy of her decoded summary by dim lamplight, fingers tracing the names and addresses, targets, planned phases, the unmistakable links between ministry and church. She knows she cannot risk returning to any known safe house. Her audio recorder is silent, her phone battery removed. Every window is covered. The only exit is a bolted trapdoor. She scribbles a new coded message, this time a simple sequence, almost childlike in its construction, but it will mean everything to Mara and the other if they can find it. She slips the note into a hollow brick near the water's edge, checks twice for watchers, and vanishes into the labyrinth of alleys. Alone, she feels the weight of the city's eyes on her, but also a flicker of resolve. She can still reach her allies, if she is careful. The city is a web, but she will learn to move in its shadows. The city is restless, lights blazing against the low clouds, distant shouts echoing from unseen protests. Evelyn moves along the rooftops, coat pulled tight, ducking beneath chimney stacks and leaping narrow gaps. Every shadow could hide an enemy, every alley could be a trap. But her eyes are clear now, her movements purposeful. She pauses atop a rooftop, overlooking the ministry's marble dome and the spires of the church beyond. She tears the last page from her notebook, a list of new leads and the names from Project Ascension, and commits them to memory before burning the scrap in a tin cup. She watches the flame consume the evidence, then scatters the ashes into the night wind. Below, agents fan out along the boulevards, searching. Evelyn descends a fire escape, vanishing into the city's veins. She is no longer the obedient clerk. She is a shadow, a revolutionary in the making. The fight is hers now, and she will not stop until the truth shatters the city's gilded lies.